Our next guest is, and our next speaker is Dawn Penfold. And Dawn is, Dawn, you're a household name in the industry to me, good or bad. But thank you for being here today, Dawn. I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. And welcome to my household. I mean, we're all working from our homes and home offices now. And so I had to do a little shift out of my office into my dining room. So normally you wouldn't see a big bottle of wine behind me or anything like that. But this is what we're all dealing with this shift of where we're going. For 30 years, I went from a meeting planner to going to this role as a recruiter owning meeting jobs. And I've seen the employment situation do this web and flow throughout the last 30 years. And we've gone through recessions. We've gone through 9/11. And the one thing I wanted to say is we've always come through. We've always come back. It always has looked different. Jim Spellows, you mentioned you called it a trigger point. John called it the new reality. 20 years ago, we called it a new paradigm. But it is all different now. And I've also heard another author talk about it as a hinge, that when things like this happen, it's like a hinge where you just go in a new direction. So in the employment situation, we're also going to be going into a new direction. And I wish I had a really good crystal ball, but I don't. We don't know what this is going to look like. Usually employment is a lagging indicator. And our industry, you'll find out, like, if the recession starts 6 months later, you'll see layoffs. You'll see moves toward in the hiring or hiring freezes. This one hit overnight. And I've never seen it hit overnight like this. I am seeing calls, I'm getting calls, emails, everything, and people are getting laid off. Almost everybody can put themselves in the category of, I've lost my job, I'm going to lose my job, I've lost business, or business has slowed down. And everybody can go into that category. So no, you're not alone. And also realize that when you're going through all this, our jobs are really important to us. David mentioned that as in the meetings industry, we like to be in control. And when we lose that control, it's almost like a death in the family. And we go through all those, those stages of grief, shock and denial and pain and guilt, depression. But the thing about it is we've got to move forward with the upward turn, with reconstruction, working through it, and acceptance. So we got to get through these phases. And John mentioned, I want to agree, take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. There are some action plans that I've seen and read about and think that you could take. The first one is, if you've lost your work, if you've lost your job, if you're an independent contractor and you've lost your business, file for unemployment, or we learned today, the PPP. For the first time, unemployment benefits are being given to independent contractors. And even though everybody who's trying to apply for them is having a hard time getting through to the companies, it's the online applications. People don't have the servers. They don't have the bandwidth. The phones, as John mentioned, you wait forever and ever, and then they hang up, but keep on trying. So apply for unemployment. They're going to ask for your Social Security, your address, your direct deposit information. Have that all ready. People who've applied for unemployment have told me what they found beneficial was to download the application ahead of time, fill it out, so if you do get through, you have all the answers and you don't have to depend upon calling somebody back or trying to get back online. The other thing we're hearing about with people is to do something about your current expenses. Companies are giving mortgage reconciliation, but just paying the principal or just paying the interest. Utility companies are giving benefits, a benefit of doubt if you can't pay your bills. So call the people you owe money to and ask them to see what they can do about your current expenses and cut back and cut back. The other thing is take care of yourself. You're going to go through some anxiety, go through some panic. Develop that home routine. Diane Devitt is the perfect person in developing home routines, stretching and this and that. And but develop your home routine.
I'm glad to share my secrets, by the way, Dawn.
I won't share them all.
Okay, thanks.
Well, you want to share them now?
Well, no, what I will just say this to you is, I think having a structure and in the morning, I have a routine, and I have kept my routine since I started working at home. I think it's important. You get up, you do a little exercise, meditation, get dressed, and I get dressed for the most part every day, because I do it for me. It keeps my spirits up. But yes.
Yeah, I've been working from a home office for 30 years. Jim, you've been working from a home office for a long time. And developing a routine is really important. And that routine can be your routine. It doesn't have to be at your desk at 8:30, unless that's the routine that you want to be in. But take care of yourself. If you've got a whole bunch of free time now, which a lot of us do, have a lot more free time, develop new interests. Start doing the things that you didn't want to do. Again, I like being in control. And my out of control moment lately has been, I realized all my closets are just a mess. And we've been going through closets, and just cleaning out closets. But be in control. Find something that makes you feel as if you're accomplishing something that day. Okay, this is the important thing. Consider your next move. This is a perfect time to sit there and go, what do I like about what I did and what don't I like about what I did? This is the perfect time to sit there and go, what would I do if I could change it? So start thinking about, it may be changing how your work looks right now, what the things you don't like about your work, and can you readjust your new life with the new reality that John mentioned with what you like to do. Is it going into something different? It might be going from being a meeting professional to being a computer expert. It might be going like Jim Spellis did many years ago. It could be so many things. My husband, for example, was a hotel salesperson, and he went into and he became a celebrant. He's a wedding officiant, and he marries people. So he wanted to get out of hotels, and that's what he does now. So find out what would make you happy in your next career, and maybe it's time to start formulating that next career. Another action plan, get some help. There are so many people out there who are willing to talk to you, who are willing to help you through these processes. Seminars like this is perfect, but get some help, ask people, and then follow the demand. Try to find out where the work is. I looked online today. There were jobs on Indeed in the events industry. There were jobs on Meeting Jobs. There were jobs on LinkedIn. Are they the job that would be perfect for you? Maybe not, but there are jobs out there. Or if you need to pay some expenses, there's no shame in trying to find where the work is. Now, we're also in an environment where the work is now, where people are hiring is, obviously grocery stores, delivery services, all those things. You have to be really, really sensitive to what's going out there with COVID-19. But there's no shame in picking up work to get you through this time period. So consider what you can do. I talked to somebody the other day. They're looking for online teachers. They're looking for people to teach English online. So look into that. Do some Google searches on finding out what you can do online in teaching. So find out what you can do during this time break. And then keep searching for that role that you want to do. The industry will come back. There will be jobs that come back. So have your resume ready. Have your marketing piece ready. Have your online digital presence ready. Make sure your LinkedIn page is in good shape. That is something that you can do now during this downtime. And then boost your skills. What can you take? What courses can you take that people are looking for? There are software programs, there are training courses that you can take during this time. The other thing that I think is also important is networking. Don't let your network die during this time period. I've always said that your network is your social capital, and it's important now as ever. So get comfortable with networking online, get comfortable with Zooming like this, get comfortable with FaceTime, get comfortable with that. It's also more personal than it is than texting somebody, or reach out on the phone and talk to people. We've all heard about the cocktail receptions, the coffee clutches, everything online. So increase your network while you have this downtime, and connect with your colleagues at, the various associations like MPI, PCMI, and they are all having online meetings. So don't disconnect from your social media. So Diane wanted me to cover a little bit of what I think it's going to look like in the future. And again, I don't have all the answers, but I think one of the things is that it's going to take longer to get a job or to get some work once things start picking up, because there's so many people who are going to be looking. I think that you're going to have to customize your marketing materials and your resume to better fit the opportunity that you are trying to get. The competition is going to be much more intense. And so they're going to look for people who can connect with what they're looking for. So I always say, make sure you look at the proposal or look at the job ad and use those words. It'll also help you if they start using applicant tracking systems or any computerized process to start pre-screening people. Video interviewing is just boomed in the last month, and it's going to continue. It's going to become a standard. So get used to video interviews. Get used to what the best way to conduct an interview online is. And also realize that there's going to be automated interviews now. And automated interviews, it's a process asked by a software program or a chatbot, where they'll ask you questions, you have to answer it. And the difficult aspect of this is that they're going to look at your answers, and you don't have an opportunity to use your personality, your great smile, your effervescent personality to make an impact on the interview. So you're not even going to be able to use voice inflection or anything. So get used to the fact that they're going to be using automatic chatbots now. An important thing also is know what your wow factor is. What makes you stand out? What makes you different? What is your specialty? It could be doing video seminars like this. It could be contract clauses. It could be creating special events, but find out what your wow factor is. And I think that's going to help sell you more in the future. And then also show that you can work from home. It's going to be a new reality. Our industry has been a little bit behind on that. And I think that it's crystal clear now that that's going to be a new reality. So you have to show that you have the work habit, the discipline, the bandwidth, the room, and the motivation to work from home. And then be prepared to answer the question, what have you been doing during this downtime? And I don't think the right answer is watching Netflix. The answer is going to be, what did you learn? What did you do that would help them and want them to bring you on as a project manager or bring you on as an employee? So that's really what I wanted to cover. Diane, did you have any questions?
Dawn, first of all, thank you. And I wanted to interrupt you 35 times because you brought up so many important things to take note of. I mean, first of all, this is a time for people to, like you say, look at what I wrote down. What did I like what I did? What didn't I like? What I like to do? But it really is a hard time to look at, and a good time to look at your resume and look at your LinkedIn and focus on one thing. That's what I heard you saying, because we're getting more and more specialized. And as now these video interviews opens up a whole area of training, because how you're perceived online is a whole separate topic. that we will be addressing in the coming weeks. I do have a few questions that came in here. What do you think the role of the meeting professional will be in post-COVID-19? And how can I make myself more marketable? I think you touched on a little bit of this, but is there anything else you can think of?
I think to be more marketable is, again, being flexible to what the client or the hiring official is looking for. And I think that's going to be really key. So if this is a pharmaceutical company,
right,
they're going to want that person who has a skill set to deal with pharmaceutical meetings, to deal with med ed meetings, to deal with, the Sunshine Act. And that's going to be that specialty. People are hitting toward niche industries now. And I think the more that you are involved with your niche industry, the better off you're going to be when going for those opportunities. I think that's one of the main things. The second thing is that, I know you mentioned the LinkedIn profile. I would say probably 99.9% of the hiring officials that I work with, when they get a resume, and the same thing can be with an independent contractor applying, they'll look at your LinkedIn profile. They want to see what your digital presence is. They want to see what your social presence is. They want to see, a lot of them want to see your picture. That's, is it legal? No, but they want to see it. They want to see what it looks like. So make sure that is really up to date and modern. And also, when we're talking about social media, make sure your Facebook presentation is professional. I've had more people who have lost jobs, a lot of people have lost jobs because of their Facebook presentation. And is it fair? No. Does it work? Yeah.
Well, yes, I speak for myself, with my own Facebook page. It's, I had to start a second one, Diane Devitt Speaks, because when I post, I say, okay, this is my business profile going out there. So that's a very good point. More than ever, I think social media. And Dawn, I know LinkedIn, and I know there's so many how-tos online right now. And certainly Jim, the expert technical person, might have some advice on that. But if there's any specific training that you can recommend, is there something that comes to mind, or is it?
Well, I know that when I'm getting job postings,
Mm-hmm.
or in the old days when I used to a month ago, when the job postings came through, CVent was a common thing that people were asking for, solid CVent experience. They were asking for solid contract experience. They're looking for solid, the ability to create a social presence for their conferences. Those were some skill sets that they were looking for.
Yeah.
Another thing, and I hate to digress a little bit, when I talked about the importance of a LinkedIn profile, I'm seeing more and more people who are using text for trying to get your attention. They're called twesumes. And that is happening now. People are sending resumes through text. Pinterest is becoming more and more popular, where people are posting job pins on their site and sending that out to people, and it'll show their accomplishments. I mean, I think that would be a great idea for an independent contractor to create a pin site.
Or an Instagram site, or something that really brings attention to your professional accomplishments. That's, it's interesting, because when you're in the entertainment industry, your resume is your photo on the front and then what you've worked on the back, so that people see your credentials. And I know it's illegal to ask for someone's photo. I don't know if they're doing it to see what you're wearing that day, and but they want to make human contact in some way, make human contact with you.
Another thing, and John is offline now, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, he had to go to
one thing that was brought up in a employment chat the other day that I was on.
Hey, Dawn, I'm here.
Oh, okay. But what was brought up the other day in an employment chat the other day was, is it legal, or will it be legal, to ask a prospective employee if they've been tested for COVID-19?
Whoa.
Probably not.
And it's against the law to ask a medical thing, but they don't want to be held responsible for wiping out an entire staff.
there are things you can do after the hiring is made, making contingencies. I think this is a question we're going to have to, we have HIPAA, we have the privacy laws that come into play relative to medical and health conditions, which have been somewhat verboten in the past. This may be something which you never know whether this will now become a mandated question for the protection of the public safety by municipalities before you hire somebody in a public-facing job. I don't know. I mean, this is back to that new reality.
Well, and you know what, too? Listen, I mean,
don't
people get tested for drugs? I mean, there are companies that do.
But that's after the hire. That you're tested for drugs after the hire.
Right.
No, John. I mean, they can be tested for drugs, and it can be contingent on hire.
Yes, that's a condition of employment.
Right.
All right.
So you basically say, if I take this job, I agree to have unannounced and unscheduled blood testing or urine testing or whatever it might be. But that's after the hire. If you're doing this pre-hire, I kind of doubt you're going to get anywhere with it. But I think this is a little bit of uncharted territory, but I think it's a legitimate concern that an employer should have, especially in the hospitality industry where you have public facing. You don't want somebody to contaminate the hotel or the convention center or whatever it might be, or serve in a restaurant that with that person being possibly carrying. But the real issue we have now is you get tested today for it, and we don't know what the reoccurrence is going to be. As I said, are we going to have the son or daughter of COVID-19 come the fall?
Right. You know, that's a very interesting question, and certainly for the short term, there might be something that comes up when employment does pivot back, which I like everyone else hope it does by June, July. Anyway, Dawn, thank you so much.
I'm thinking more September and October. And I do want to say, I want to add to everybody else, send your resume to me. I'd be happy to take a look at it. You know,
thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. And John, just to clarify, I was saying when I was commenting the June, July, it's because you would maybe get back to us on this in the future, is some companies are saying maybe for a window we'll have a barrage and then maybe it'll slack off again. So again, it's all the unknowns that we don't know that are coming up in the future. But thank you so much. And
it keeps us young.
It keeps us young. Anyway, thank you, Dawn, for offering to, and we'll get everyone's emails out following this presentation. So
thanks.